Hello everyone, welcome to Money Mastery with Sadik. Did you know that Indian households together hold more gold than the reserves of the top 10 countries combined? That is right. Families across India may be sitting on gold worth more than $4 trillion, which is almost equal to India's GDP. All the gold ever mined in history adds up to about 216,000 tons, and almost all of it still exists because gold does not rust or disappear. Out of this total, around 45% is held in the form of jewelry, and around 22% is held in the form of bars and golds, including those held by exchange traded funds across the world. And 17% are held with central banks as part of their reserves, and the remaining 15% is used in industry and technology, right? In India, gold is not just an investment, which we all know. It is an emotion, it is part of our culture and tradition, right? Estimates say that Indian households hold around 31,000 to 34,000 tons of gold. That is nearly 15% of all the gold ever mined till date, right? And at today's price of around $4,000 an ounce, this is worth around 4 to 4.5 trillion dollars. Our household gold alone is almost equal to India's GDP, or might even be more than India's GDP if the estimates are close to 34,000 tons of gold, right? It is almost as big as the entire stock market capitalization, which is worth around 5.1 trillion dollars. So households gold is worth more than 80% of India's equity market capitalization. And it is almost close to 1.5 to 2 times of all the fixed deposits held by Indians at banks across the country. So gold, as far as Indians are concerned, is not just wealth, but it is also a silent reserve, right? Central banks across the world also love gold, and of late they've been showing more love towards gold. The US holds the largest official reserve, followed by Germany, Italy, France, and now Russia and China as well, right? So the RBI holds around 800 tons of gold, which is around 13% of our total forex reserves, and together all the central banks around the world hold around 37,000 tons of gold, which is just about 17% of all the above earth gold that has ever been mined. In the last few years, central banks have been continuously buying around 1,000 tons of gold every year, which is the highest in history, mainly because they want to depend less on the US dollar as a result of this whole de-dollarisation concept or trend, right? So when sanctions, wars, trade tensions, etc. arise, countries realize that keeping all their reserves in the form of US Treasuries is very risky, especially with mounting US government debt, which is nearing $40 trillion, which is becoming very risky to hold US denominated treasury bonds or securities, right? Gold, on the other hand, cannot be frozen or sanctioned against, especially when America is no longer controlling majority of gold's inventory like they did close to or post World War II, right? So this is also one of the reasons why RBI is making efforts to repatriate around half of the gold reserves that we hold, which is outside the country, so that it cannot be frozen for some reason, right? So all of these reasons combined has sort of quietly made gold the world's backup currency, right? Especially against the dollar. But if we really think about it, this is not a new role for gold, right? Because it has been the world's global currency for many centuries. It probably just took a break post World War II, letting the American dollar take its place. And now gold is just reclaiming it back again after around 75 to 80 years later, right? So that's how I see it. China officially reports only around 2,500 tons of gold reserves, but experts do believe that the actual number will be far higher. because China is now the largest gold producing country in the world, overtaking South Africa a few years ago, right? So China mines around 370 to 400 tons of gold every year, which is around 10% of the total output. Yet it exports very, very little of it because the Chinese government restricts the export of domestically mined gold, which means that most of the gold that is mined within China stays within the country, and it is either in the hands of the Chinese central bank or state-owned banks or private investors, right? Over time, this has reportedly created a massive unreported inventory of gold. Many analysts across the world estimate that China's true gold holdings, including what's hidden in various state accounts, could well be over 30,000 tons, which is much higher than what is officially reported, right? And China keeps accumulating quietly without announcing it to the world because declaring it suddenly could shake the global confidence in the US dollar, and it can create chaos and could push gold's prices sharply higher overnight, right? Every year, the world mines around 3,000 to 4,000 tons of new gold. Even if gold prices keep rising higher from here, you just cannot open new mines immediately, right? Because finding and developing mines take a lot of time, from exploration, from government clearances with respect to environmental clearances and building the infrastructure, etc. It can actually take around 10 to 15 years before the first bar of gold is coming out from a mine, right? So it is estimated that there is 57 tons of gold that is still to be mined, which is underground, and at the current rate of around 3,000 to 4,000 tons of gold that is mined every year, this reserve will last only around 15 to 17 years, right? So that means supply is limited, and it cannot grow fast, right? But on the demand side, we have central banks buying gold continuously, and investors also are buying gold continuously as a hedge against equity exposure. And combine that with the tight supply, that just supports higher prices for gold in the coming years as well, right? So gold has always been an ultimate hedge, right? Against inflation, against market crashes, against global tensions such as tariffs and wars, etc. And when uncertainty arises, money moves towards gold, not away from it, right? So that is what is mainly driving the prices of gold. Whether it is weddings, savings, or temple offerings, gold is part of every Indian household. And our love for gold has made India one of the biggest holders of gold, right? So this video is for educational purposes only, not investment advice. If you found this video useful and insightful, do share it with one friend who you think it might also be useful to, and hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more such insightful videos. Thank you.